What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Steven here, and I want to talk to you guys about astounding stats that I found recently. And that is, on average, 67% of Americans don't have an emergency fund more than $1,000 in their savings account. So with that being said, that is a shocker to me just because I was not too long ago in a position where I was gonna spend a lot of money, but instead I saved that in a savings account, and now I'm earning about 1.7% interest rate on the money that I have in a savings account. So, how did I progress from being at one position to now having some money in a savings account where if I don't work, I can actually live off that savings account? And the biggest reason for me is actually cutting down my biggest expenses, right? So I don't go out there and drink, and I don't go party, or I don't go there and get a lavish lifestyle or trying to impress people that I don't know, right? So that's the biggest thing for me, is cutting down costs that I don't necessarily need. So the biggest recommendation for you and the biggest trick is to save money as you can. So with that being said, the transition into the second biggest thing is to really evaluate where you are in terms of your lifestyle, right? So if you think about how many hours you have to work in order to buy that item, you might think twice about purchasing it. So for example, I actually wanted to buy an Apple Watch about a month ago, and I still haven't bought one just because I knew how much it cost back then, and I was hoping it would decrease in value, and of course it will be cheaper, but it didn't. And then I thought about how many hours do I have to work to accumulate $450 for an Apple Watch, and it was taking me about 15 hours to purchase the Apple Watch. And then when I thought about working 15 additional hours at the work to pay a Apple Watch that I didn't really need in the future, was just mind-blowing. So with that being said, when I thought about that, I didn't really want to buy the Apple Watch, and instead I took that money and placed it into my savings account, where I'm actually earning 1.75% in terms of interest rates. So I'm actually getting paid to have money in my savings account instead of using it to buy an expensive gadget, which I'm going to probably use once or twice a week, and it's just for show, and it's not I found valuable in. Think twice before you buy the product or service that you're going to buy. And the lastly, I think, taking the time to think about it, right? Give it about 24 to 48 hours before you make that purchase. And after that time, really think, are you really gonna value the product after 48 hours? And if the answer is no, of course, you're not going to buy that product. And of course, you can put that money into a savings account. So a lot of people, like to go out and have a lavish lifestyle. And I obviously want that too. But at the same time, you have to be very straightforward and real about your cash. And of course, where you are in terms of your financial goals. So with that being said, let's talk about a little bit about savings accounts, where there's so many different options in terms of savings accounts. There are so many options online where they offer 1.75% to 2% interest rates on your savings account. And the reason why I recommend online savings accounts is that usually they have very low minimum. Usually you can open an account for free, actually. They maybe require $1 balance to actually accumulate the 1.75% interest rate, but usually they are free to open. And I highly recommend those those savings accounts, just because they're a lot better than your traditional bank, which offers honestly 0% interest or 0.05% on your savings. So for every $1,000 you have in your savings in a traditional bank, you earn literally like 2 or 3 pennies on every $1,000 you have, versus 1.5% when you earn about 10 to 15 or even 20 cents per every $1,000 you have with accounts. So some of the biggest recommendations I have in terms of online savings is American Express has their offer on a new savings account for 1.75%. And of course, Ali Bank follows by 1.0% savings, and Goldman Sachs is at 1.8. So those are some of the biggest names out there in terms of my favorites on savings. And of course, you want to shop around in terms of savings just because there's different rules and regulations. You might like American Express better, or you might like Goldman Sachs or Ali Bank. It really depends on what you like and how you like their features. So the two rules that I really follow is convenience, right? Convenience and flexibility. So convenience wise is, how easy am I going to use this savings account, and how accessible it is for me to transfer in and out for the money that I have. And of course, accessibility and flexibility is, how flexible are they to work with me in terms of the savings account, and how flexible it is in terms of the balances that I have to keep. And of course, that's a huge difference in terms of your savings account at a traditional bank, because usually they require $300 minimum balance. But to sum up this video, I just want to tell you guys, there's definitely many ways to save, and of course, there's definitely many savings accounts out there that I hope you guys find the right one for you. And of course, like I said, there are different options, and if you have any questions out there, you can definitely reach out to a representative with them. But with that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please give me a thumbs up